Yo, what is going on, guys? JC here, and what I'm bringing you guys today is another requested video. We're going to go over how to take our map or our terrain from Terrain Builder and import it into DayZ Editor, build on DayZ Editor, and then import the build back into Terrain Builder, if that makes any sense. So essentially there's two ways to build a map. You have to be done inside of, it has to be done inside of Terrain Builder. You have to compile the map. You have to do all of the layers, everything like that has to be done in Terrain Builder, but you can actually do your building in Editor. There's a few pros and there's a few cons to doing this. One of the biggest pros is you have a little site window. You'll be able to actually see the assets that you're trying to place. Whereas if you look here on Terrain Builder, you're just having P3D names. Now, if you've been doing this a while, this isn't too bad. You kind of start to remember and you kind of start to, it just becomes muscle memory as to what building is what. But if you're just getting into making a map, having a search bar with images is very, very, very nice. Another main big thing about it is whenever you're trying to build anything that's up above the sky, say over top of water, anything like that, it is 10 times by a million easier to do it inside of Editor than it is to do it inside of Terrain Builder. Terrain Builder, your camera wants to auto snap to the ground, especially as you move, and with Editor you don't have that issue. So I will say the camera moving is a lot easier. It's just a lot better. Now the issue that I will say that the biggest con is you can't adjust the terrain inside of terrain or inside of Editor. You know, so if you're placing something and the terrain's a little janky, you could do it right then and there inside of Terrain Builder or inside Bulldozer. You know, if you're doing shorelines and you need to add a little bit of ground to it, it's very simple to do. If you want to add some rocks, you know, it's just I feel like if you're trying to manipulate the terrain, you can't go wrong. You just absolutely can't go wrong. And that's why I feel like I said, there's a pros and then there's a cons if you're trying, you know. So but I'm going to go through and I'm going to show you guys exactly how to get your map ready from Bulldozer or Terrain Builder. We're going to show you how to pack it and load it as a local mod into DayZ. That way you can pull it up in Editor. You can make all of your edits, and then you can just kind of bring it over to Terrain Builder. I was going to go into Terrain Builder here for a quick second just to kind of give you an idea of what I was talking about as to why I think it's a little bit better, you know. So for instance, say here in Editor you wouldn't be able to do anything with this island, but if I wanted to here and we wanted to get rid of this, I mean, I can just make whole ass islands if I really wanted to. So that's one of the things that I will say is the biggest downfall, but that's neither here nor there. Let's get into the video. So the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to get your height map and stuff imported. And if you followed along with the series, you should be at this point. I'm using the same map that we've been using throughout the entire series of showing you guys how to build a map. The only thing that I've done differently this morning is I did record this video, but I messed up my audio track, so I'm having to re-record it. We went through on our templates and we added something called DZ All, which will have every single P3D on your P drive. The reason being is because whenever you're trying to import something into Terrain Builder from Editor, if you do not have the P3D loaded in your template libraries, your game, it will not work. It'll upload to that object and then it just crashes out. And what really sucks is it doesn't tell you what object, so you have to like sit there and scratch your head and figure it out. But okay, so we're here. First thing you're going to want to do, you're going to go to your properties on your map frames. Your output root folder needs to be P drive and then whatever the root directory of your map is. Okay, you don't want to go to your P drive, choose map, and then choose source. You don't want that. You want to just choose the entire file of your map. It's as soon as you change this, you're gonna have to redo your layers, and that's perfectly fine. And then everything else can be good. So you just export satellite, mask, convert to PAAs, boof, generate layers. I'm not going to do it because I've already done it. The next thing you're going to need to do is you're going to have to go to your P drive. You're going to have to go to your YouTube map area. Inside of your data folder, you're going to have to create a config. This is a very crucial step. It's a very, very simple config. It's just a CFG patches. I will have this posted in the description. If you don't have this already, you will need this. But basically what this does is this tells PBO project to create a PBO out of the contents of this folder. So as of right now, if you don't have your project drive set to this, or your project folder and stuff inside your map frames, this layers folder will be absolutely empty because it sends it to a temp folder. We don't want that. We want it to come to this folder. So once that's all said and done, you create your config, go ahead and create your layers. Do your config first, then generate your layers through your properties and processing, all of that stuff. Once that's all said and done, you file, export, WRP. Well, I guess I'll just go ahead and do it real quick. Export the WRP. It's going to be in your world folder if you followed along with the tutorials. You hit save. Done. At this point, we can minimize this. Now we're going to pull up PBO project. So once we pull up PBO project, you're going to want to come to your root directory. So let's just open this up. Let's go to our D drive. We'll go to Steam, Steam apps, common, DayZ. And then you just want to be in your root folder. You're going to create an @ folder with your map name. So in my case, it's YT map. And then you just need an add-ons folder. That is all you need. Okay. You don't need to sign them. You don't need a keys folder. You don't need by keys. You don't need none of that. All you need is an add-ons folder with the 2 PBOs required, which is a world PBO and a data PBO. That's all you need. World PBO has all of your buildings and stuff on it. The data PBO has your textures, your satellite image, your terrain images, your mask, all of that. So once you have those 2 images and you have a little mod, you're at this point, you're good to go. I'm not going to sit here and crunch this because there's no need to. Like I said, I've already done this and it's the most up-to-date one. So at this point, you go into DayZ. If it wants to open, and anytime now, Steam, anytime. There we go. You're going to go to your mods. I already have mine loaded as a local mod, but I'm going to actually delete this. I'm just going to remove it from the list, and I'm going to do this step with you guys. So you're going to come up here and you're just going to type in, your editor. Basically you're going to grab what, DayZ editor, dab, CF, and then you're also going to want to have builder items installed. But now we need to put our mod on there. If we come all the way down here, we'll see I don't have my YouTube map anymore. So we're going to come up here to local mod. You are going to go to your, mine's on my D drive. So Steam apps, common, come down to DayZ, come down to YouTube map. We're not going to go into it. We don't want to do that. We just want to select the entire folder. And there we go. YouTube map was installed. We've already loaded the mod. We're good to go. This is how you can test mods through editor. If you didn't know, you just load it as a local mod. And then we're just going to hit play. And this will prompt us into the DayZ editor. Now, I will say, full disclosure, full 100% complete disclosure, that ever since the new editor updates, this thing crashes a lot. Okay. And a lot is an understatement. It crashes immensely, especially when you're trying to load like offline maps. I feel every time I go in here and I play around in editor, it's about a 50-50 chance. You might get in the first time, or you might have to do it 10 times. Well, not 10 times. That's a little exaggeration. Maybe 3 times. I think 3 is the most I've actually had to do it, but it'll go through all of this process. For some reason, it keeps putting me in windowed mode and I don't know why. Very frustrating. But you go through all this process, and whenever you go to actually launch your map, it will tend to crash sometimes, and it's very frustrating. So if you know a fix of that, let me know. But if you scroll over now, you'll see that your YouTube map is now here. It's going to show an image of Chernarus. And that's because that's done in the config. Maybe that's for a new video. If you guys want to know how to change the image of your maps and stuff, let me know, because we'll probably cover that. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to load YouTube map. Now, this right here is where it's 50-50. It might crash on us. It might let us in the first go. Who knows? We're about to find out. It's looking like it might crash on us. Possibly. Maybe. Yep, there it goes. There's our crash. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get into the map, and then I will be right back with you. But I promise you guys, usually just try again. It'll usually work. But we'll be right back once we actually get into the map. Okay, and third time's the charm. It took me 3 times to get into this freaking map. Like I said, sometimes it's the first go, other times it's not. But as you can see, we are currently in our map. So what we want to do is let's come on over here, and we're going to go right here to this little island. This little island looks like a good one to go to. So we'll come here. This is going to have all of Chernarus' trails on it. It's perfectly fine, but this is good for what we want to do. So here we go. We've got yeah, sure, this island will work. Here's the thing about editor. Let's see if we can't get rid of some of this freaking fog. Holy crap. Ew, let's go somewhere else where it's not so damn foggy. That's nasty. Maybe at the top of this mountain it won't be so foggy. No, it's still foggy. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Okay, this will be good though. So this is the biggest thing about editor, is you want to make sure that you don't use anything that is _DE. Okay, so if you look at, let's go here. We'll just type in UAZ. All right. So you'll notice we have a static. That's DE, land rec DE, and then we have just a land rec UAZ. You want to make sure you use whatever is land, or static works fine. So does builder items. Just do not use anything that has _DE. That stands for dynamic event. Okay. And we don't want to use that. So let's just type in land house. And let's grab one of these houses here. We're not going to worry about orientation. We're just going to kind of grab some stuff. So put that there. Let's put this here. Let's grab maybe some rocks. So let's do one of those. Let's put one of these here. That looks good. Put a rock like that. And another what's really cool thing about editor is it'll actually hold your rotations too. So let's get let's grab some containers. Now again, you could use builder containers or you can use static containers. Entirely up to you, as long as you don't use anything that is _DE. So for this case, let's grab some land containers. Now you'll notice how this one is kind of floating. So you would right click on it, and then you would just align to surface. So now it's actually going with the surface, right? So let's do another one. Actually, we'll do one that's both, so I can kind of show you guys. So once you've done your build and you like it, this build looks absolutely fantastic. You can't even get into this house, but hey, who cares? You're going to come up here. You're going to go to File. You're going to go to Export, and you're going to go to Export to Terrain Builder. We're going to name this YouTube Test 2 because I already have a YouTube test. Again, like I said, we've already done this, and my audio is messed up. So we have our 9 objects. At this point, you can save it as a DZE file, or you can just exit editor altogether. Completely fine. So once you've exited editor, we're now going to come back to Terrain Builder. And we were building somewhere up here, I believe. But what you're going to do is once you're in Terrain Builder, I would highly suggest on your layers creating a new one that's called like editor imports. And then make sure you're on your editor imports. So whatever layer, whatever objects layer that you're on when you import, that is the object layer that all of those items are going to be on. So I like having one that's called editor imports. And then once I get in there, I can go through, choose each building and set it to the layer that I want it to be on. But we're going to go to editor imports. You're going to go to File, import objects, pick the files. So to navigate to your default editor stuff is going to be in your documents, Daisy editor. And then we're going to come down here to this YouTube test2.txt file. We're going to make sure we choose advanced options, and we're going to choose absolute. Do not choose relative. You want to choose absolute. This is going to give you the absolute position orientation of all of your buildings. So we choose this and we just hit OK. And as we can see, all of our items are now in here. So with this open, I'm going to move this off my screen and we're going to open up Bulldozer. And we'll go into Bulldozer just to verify that all of our items have actually imported, which they should have. But I can show you how the one container will be following the elevation and the other container should be kind of off. Should be. All right. Here we go. And perfect. So here's all of our buildings now in in Bulldozer. It's in Terrain Builder. And as you can see, this one's floating off the ground. This one is not. I will say when it comes to this kind of stuff, it's a royal pain in the ass. Whoops. It's a royal pain in the ass to line these up like perfectly in Terrain Builder. So it does make it a little easier to do that kind of stuff in Editor. I will have to agree with that. But yeah, that's pretty much how you get the buildings into Editor. Or I'm sorry, into Terrain Builder. Golly. Throwing me off. And that's it. Again, we've chosen to be on Editor Import. So if we go to our fences layer, you'll notice that we will not be able to select any of these. So at this point, what I would do is I have on my map, my wrecked vehicles are under wrecks. My rocks are on their own layers. The houses are on their own layers. So I would, at this point, I would go through and I would select all of these to their own layer, basically, which you could just come here. You grab this one up here, which is the layer selection. So we would click this one, right? Click the building, come over here, houses. Same thing with this one, houses. We'd click on this one, and then this would be like, my Rex, if I had one for Rex, which I don't. And that's pretty much it. Now, once you've got this done and you like it, you save. And you're going to make sure that you file export the WRP. Let's come back to our P drive. Come back to our YouTube map. World. Do this. You export it, and then you have to do the whole process again. You have to go through PBO project. You have to update your map. You have to, repack it and everything like that. Otherwise, whenever you go back into Editor, these buildings won't be there. So if you want your builds that you've already added to Terrain Builder to constantly keep going, you have to keep your map updated as you go. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's how you get your objects into Terrain Builder from Editor. Like I said, there's pros and cons to both. Whatever works for you I feel is the best way to go. Me personally, I feel Terrain Builder is the best for me, but I know some people like building an Editor. And this has been a very, very requested video, and a question that I get all the time is, how do I get my map into Editor? So I just wanted to cover those bases. So hopefully this video helped. If it did, a thumbs up would be fantastic. I'd greatly appreciate you. And yeah, keep a lookout for a video on how to actually change your in-game map to match this. And to change the overall image that's on Editor to actually show your terrain. If you guys really want that, just keep a lookout. So, but again, guys, I do appreciate y'all very, very much. The support has been immense. We did our first playtest on our map. It went fantastic. So I really, really do appreciate that. If you guys are interested in playing along in the dev playtest, it is available over on my Patreon. Any tiered membership, paid membership will get you whitelisted on there. You guys get to see it as it goes before the public actually gets to play it. You guys get to play all of the updates first, and we have a lot of little cool stuff over there for the members. So I do appreciate. Shout out to all my Patreon members. You guys are absolutely amazing. But that being said, the video's done. I love your faces. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. Feel free to join the Discord. I will be more than happy to help you out. and we'll catch you guys in my next video. Love you. Bye.